Yeah, and we went eating to some places. And then the third friend, Shobita, who was the one that took the trip to this Himachal, she was there as well. And everyone took out time from their work schedules and made sure that they showed me around and that I had a good time in Delhi. And it was so cute. It was just adorable. I love those people. They barely know me. We had only ever met once before in our lives, and we were all so sloshed and drunk at man and sister's wedding that you'd think that we wouldn't um, like have formed a bond, because honestly I don't remember much of that wedding. I was literally drunk the entire time, but I know that they were really good friends with me. Like, they took care of me when I was sloshed. They literally held my hair up while I puked. They got me food, made sure I was okay, helped me look for my shoes. Oh my god, my shoes. I'm not getting into that. That's some weird drama that happened. Funny drama made for a really funny story. Yeah, I guess I did make a couple of new friends that I didn't realize until now. I know I made these friends in the start of 2019, so technically it doesn't count in this list, but I met them again, and this kind of sealed that friendship. Now I know this is, I can't say forever, but this is something. Like, I know they're going to live with me when they come to Bombay, and I know I'm going to have a fucking blast with them, and I know that when all of this gets done, and I do want to go back to Delhi because now I have so many friends there. I will go back and I will meet these people, and I just know I have a kind of like a tiny family in Delhi now, and that really makes me really fucking happy. So yeah, that was my third thing: Jibby slash Delhi slash snow slash Milky Way, and new friends, a lot of new friends. The fourth thing on this list is exercising, but I don't want to get into this again because I already dedicated one of my blogs to exercising and the benefits and blah blah. It's just something I need to mention here because in 25 years of my life, I've never been able to make exercise a part of my routine, my daily routine, something I followed with discipline and consistency. And in the 24th year of my life, I did. So, yay me! I have never done anything before in my life for 3 months consistently, except maybe go to school or college, but that's because we had to. If it was a choice, probably wouldn't have. Exercising. Fifth thing that I did not realize until just now, like, this list was mentally in my head a long time ago, but now while writing down, I realized, fuck, Copper Boom. Copper Boom is part of this list. I'm so, I don't know, I enjoy doing it so much and it makes me so happy, but still, it didn't figure on mentally in the list of things I didn't this year, and I don't know why. But yeah, it's something I'm really proud of. It's something that I can't wait to do again. It's something that I don't know how to describe it, but it's just something that gives me the sense of identity that identity and I can't say purpose, but it gives me this confidence that I am capable of doing something like this on my own and running a tiny company, if that's what it's called. I don't want to call it a company. Whatever it is, running a shop from my room, and it wouldn't be possible without the help of so many people in my life. All my friends who model for me and help me run like a pop-up shop and shit like that. I'm so grateful to all of these people that helped me out. But yeah, Copper Boom is one of the big things of this year, and it's gotten so much recognition as well, so it kind of reinforces the fact that I can't downplay this. I can't just say, oh, it's nothing. There are actually people and publications that believe that this is something, so I should probably give it to myself a little bit. I'm not, yeah, it's not something I talk about very often, and I don't enjoy talking about it much. Because yeah, it's just awkward to toot your own horn, and it makes it sound like something I did on my own, which is not true. I wouldn't be running the shop if I didn't have my friends to model for me and shit. So Yeah, it's kind of like a group effort. So thanks to so many people. I'm not gonna list them out, but yeah. The last thing on my list is, I don't know if it should be on this list, but it's getting over my ex, which I think is a big deal. And I don't know if I want to elaborate on this. It might just take me down this rabbit hole that I might not know how to climb out of. I might start talking about stuff that's not related to this video. But my phone's running out of memory and it's not letting me record long videos, so these are all cuts now. I'm gonna keep it short. Um, I think I can finally confidently say that I'm over my ex, and I can think about him and I can think about everything that was without feeling sad, without yearning for things to change, without hoping that I could have him back. And just a few months ago, I did. Um, I feel like I was still a little bit in that space. Not entirely. I was entirely over him. But there was still bouts of, me thinking about everything and wishing that I hadn't lost him. But now I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally. I can even be happy for him. Like, if something happened next week and I had to go and meet everybody, I would certainly be awkward. But unlike a year ago, it would not be a reason for me to not attend the function or whatever. You know, I'd go, and I know it would be tough to look at him and look at his new girlfriend, but I think I could take it, and I could come out of it without um, wanting to dissolve into the ground. Maybe I'll still want to, but yeah, I think I'm over him. I'm over wanting him. I'm over longing to have not made the mistakes that I made. I don't have regret anymore. It's done. And sometimes I do feel lonely and I wish that I had someone. And when I wish that, it kind of instantly relates to wanting him, because he's the last best thing I had in a way. So naturally, I feel like, oh, I want him back in my life. Especially because he has so many, this house has so many memories related to him. So whenever I feel lonely in this house, naturally I feel like, oh, I want him here. But it's not true, I don't. In fact, today was the death anniversary of Scooby. So I put up a few stories, and he was in one of the pictures that we'd taken coincidentally on my birthday a few years ago, 3 years ago. And I tagged him in the picture, and it's the first time I've had any Instagram contact with him since December of 2018. You know, we did start following each other a while ago, last year, end of last year or something. He followed me first. So I decided to follow him back, and sometimes it's been difficult to look at his posts and see his girlfriend and stuff like that. But I think now that it's been a couple of months, I've gotten even used to that. I'm okay with seeing her around and seeing her in our mutual friends' stories, because she's friends with everyone and they're all hanging out together. Sometimes that feels a little tough. That feels a little more tough than him dating her, because he's dating her fine, but now she's slipped into everyone else's lives as well. That means she's that much more permanent. But whatever. Now I'm kind of okay with it. I tagged him today, and that's a huge step for me to acknowledge and accept that this guy used to be in my life, and now we can kind of be friends at a distance as well. But he didn't reply to my message, which I find a bit weird. Like, I sent him a message saying, I hope you don't mind that I've tagged you and I hope you're well. And thank you for being there for me 2 years ago when Scooby passed away. But he left it on red. And I don't want to overthink that, but why would he do that? He's clearly over me. And clearly I didn't do anything to piss him off. He left me. I should be mad. I'm not mad anymore. So I have a huge question mark in my head as to why he would be ignoring my messages. But I'm gonna dwell on that. I think it's a good sign for me personally that I'm able to tag him again. So let's ignore everything else while things are going okay for you right now. Anyway, that was the end of my list. That was the end of my list for 2019 2020. And I know that's not a spectacular list. It's not as spectacular as 2019. 2019 I had going to Cannes and going to Berlin and और क्या किया था मैंने? I moved here also, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I mean different things happened. More monumental things happened. That's the word I was looking for when I was talking earlier. As the years go on by and as you get older, the list of monumental things happening in your life is going to reduce, and the achievements and the successes are going to be more subtle. They're going to be smaller in comparison. They won't be as huge in magnitude, but they will still be good things that improve your life for the better. And you have to realize that. And you have to now measure your life in quality and not quantity, as cliched as that sounds. But I guess a realization like this also kind of means that I'm growing up, right? And that I'm getting older and possibly wiser. And I am kind of proud of myself for that. So, yeah, that's the list of things that happened in the past year that I'm happy about. There are also things in the past year that I'm probably not happy about. But luckily, I haven't made a mental list of those things yet. Now that I've thought of it, I just might. I hope I get to sleep tonight. But I'm not going to make a video about that. That's not what I dwell. That's not what I want to dwell on, and I'm scared that if I do that, the next 48 hours that I have to spend before my birthday are going to be that much tougher. I'm already dreading 2nd July. I've never dreaded that day before in my life, so it's a bit sad. I want to enjoy my birthday and I want to have a good time, and I don't want to be at home. I want to go out, and I will go out. I've decided that I'm going to go to Carter Road and enjoy the sunset. I know people might think it's not safe, but I'm going to maintain my distance from everybody else, and I'm going to take as many precautions as are necessary to stay out. Because you can go out and be safe and not contract the disease. You just have to do it smartly. And people in India are not very smart, so you shouldn't leave them to their own devices. You have to lock them down and dictate to them. That sounds like I'm all for a fascist government, but I'm not. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna end this video. I'll be back maybe tomorrow. I'll talk about. I thought of. Yeah, so I've been seeing it as the past 1 year being great, but if you think about it, in the past 25 years, I've done a lot of things that I have to be proud about. And if I took all of those into consideration, I would realize that my 25th birthday is not something to dread, because I have had so much fun in the last 25 years, and it's been a great life. I should be thankful and I should be grateful and I should cherish them. I should not dismiss it just because the number 25 is a bit terrifying. Everyone turns 25, man. And imagine when you're 35, you'll be so feeling so stupid that you wanna kick yourself for feeling bad about 25. That always happens. So I guess I'm gonna tell myself and try to believe that 25 isn't old. Because in my head, genuinely, I don't even feel 35 is old. I feel like 35 is still young. I guess that's because Karen is nearing that age and I don't see her as old at all, and I just cannot believe that in like 7 years she's going to be 40. Like that's okay, that's old, okay. Luckily I have 15 years till then. But yeah, I think next video will be about things I did till 25 and things I want to do in this next coming year, hopefully. if this pandemic doesn't fucking kill us all before that. I hope I'm only joking about that, please. Okay, that's it for now. Hope that I have a nice birthday and a nice year ahead. This is like me wishing myself happy birthday. Happy birthday, Eden. Happy birthday, Eden. Okay. Here's to being wiser and smarter and happier and yeah, more mature this year.